Hi, I'm Rich.
And I'm Kathy.
And we're coming to you from our earth shelter dome here in the Adirondacks in our living room that will be someday.
Someday.
And we are just a little tired. We got a lot going on. A lot of things started, nothing finished.
That was last week's video, honey.
It's a continuation.
We are going to talk about our propane system, which is our second source of, I guess, power on the homestead. Our solar is the first, but before we get to that, we're just going to give you a little update where we're at with the build.
They are going to finish up the final pour this week. That's just the top sections of the tall walls and then the one short wall.
They got new scaffolding put up on the backs of the two giant walls that are 18 feet high.
And as soon as they are finished and breaking down all their equipment and they get their stuff out of here, we will be then starting on the waterproofing.
Which is huge. Yes, we want to insulate it, and yes, we want to get it covered with dirt before winter, but we're having a big problem right now with leaks.
Yeah, we've had a lot of rain in the past couple of days here.
Weeks,
yeah.
We had to lift up a little bit of the floor that we had put down in the bedroom because water was getting in there and under the floor, and we really needed to get that dried out. We bought a dehumidifier, which after we lifted up the floor, we put in there and we turned that on, and that really helped dry everything up a lot. But every time it rains, we are inundated with leaks everywhere in the dome, and that's definitely an issue that we want to get resolved as soon as we can.
You know, the more this concrete dome heats up in the hot sun and then contracts and heats and contracts, it's moving and it is cracking. So we are getting a lot more new areas that were leaking that we never had before. So it's important, and we're excited to get started with the membrane and the waterproofing of the outside of this dome.
You've also discovered
mice.
It's not funny, but we just don't even. I have no words.
So that's something new to deal with.
Inevitable in the Adirondacks.
And you know, you wouldn't think where they were coming in. Somehow they're getting up the wall and coming through the windows up top, right where the little crank is for the window that opens and closes the window. There's a little crack there, and they sort of gnawed their way through it and made it bigger.
They made a hole in the screen. It looks like they came in the screen the way the little screen things are pushed. So I add that to the list of fun things going on in our life. We are still working in the closet.
We have most of it done. We just have to finish up some more shelves. Everything is custom cuts, you know, and it takes a long time with all the curves and angles. Kathy's been doing a fantastic job staining and polyurethaning all the pieces.
I love the way that chalk paint came out too.
Everything's looking great, and we'll have an update of a completed closet soon.
Coming soon. We ran into a problem obtaining 1/2-inch blue PEX pipe.
Right.
So that's on order.
Coming next week.
Yeah, along with a bunch of sheetrock and beadboard and a lot of the other things we need to finish the kitchen. So once the closet's done and we get that delivery, we'll work in the kitchen as much as we can. But as soon as the retaining walls are done, our real focus has to be the waterproofing, and every nice day will be spent outside morning till night working on getting this dome closed in. It's a huge problem. On a lighter note, other than all those problems, we did celebrate our 16th anniversary.
That's right, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
16 years.
And tomorrow is my 57th birthday, so we have some fun things happening.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. So if you're new here and you didn't catch on yet, we are building an off-grid earth sheltered house. This house, once it is covered and insulated, should have tremendous amount of thermal mass and be extremely energy efficient. It's also designed for passive solar in the winter to help heat us up. So we really shouldn't need a lot of heat or air conditioning ever in the future. We are off the grid, and that means we provide 100% of our power ourselves. So we have a 6,400 watt solar system.
Right, and that is very capable during the summer months. But when the winter time comes, there are a lot of gray skies. So we need a supplemental power.
Redundancy is really the key here. So we have the 6,400 watt solar system, and we have 16,400 watts of battery backup. Those are lithium iron phosphate batteries. So that's the storage. And in the winter, we could maybe get through maybe a day or two.
About that.
With that. And then with the gray skies, we run into some problems. So we have a 14,000 watt backup generator. Once the batteries get below 38%, the generator
turns on,
automatically kicks on and charges them back up. So our solar system is charged by solar. Solar will charge those batteries, but if we have a few cloudy days in a row and those batteries go below 38% or hit 38%, the system automatically turns on the 14,000 watt generator so that the batteries get charged up. We also have 3
generators.
We have the 2200i Generac that runs on gas.
Yeah.
We have the 3500 watt Predator that runs on gas.
Yeah.
We have the 6500 watt Predator that runs on gas.
Yeah.
And we have the 1400 watt portable power station.
Yeah, the Van Power's portable power station, which is basically a lithium iron phosphate battery that's capable of 1400 watts also, which is nice.
They use that for racing off grid in our friend's backyard.
Race complete.
So we have a lot of redundancy. But the propane was a very big part of our major plan for this house.
Right.
We knew from the beginning we wanted a 1,000-gallon tank because we didn't want to risk ever running out in the middle of the winter.
And we decided to buy that tank and not lease it or rent it or whatever with any of these plans that the companies, sell you.
No, we don't like bills and we don't like being beholden to people for anything, which is why we're off grid in the first place. In the fall of 2021, I started looking for a 1,000-gallon tank to buy. And we initially wanted to buy a tank that could be buried. And at that time, that's when all those major shipping issues,
supply chain issues.
Yeah, it was really bad. There was not a single underground tank to be found anywhere.
Yeah, for a while there, we were still coming off of the COVID problems that it caused. So
yeah,
we could not find a in-ground tank, believe it or not, for a 1,000-gallon tank. So we did. We were able to find this above-ground tanks, and so we bought it. The
company that we bought it from was nice enough to hold on to it for us for almost a year. They kept it in their lot. And in 2022, when we found out that the retaining walls weren't getting done, we were on a mad dash to find any way to take care of heating and keeping this dome as warm as we could.
Right.
So we got that propane installed. To save money, Richie dug the trench himself. So this looks good here. Is this what we're going to do? I hear a big truck. I think our propane is here. The plumber stubbed us out because that's what they said had to be there. And when they came, they literally just dropped the tank and ran all the lines for us. And they were even nice enough to help us hook up our generator.
Right.
Probably a little more money than we expected, but they did a phenomenal job, and we're not surprised that everything just costs so much more than we think it's going to cost these days. So we have the gas coming in to the house and then also going out to the generator over there. And then this is from the house to the generator for the carburetor heater and the battery tender. The battery tender is separate so that it's always ready to go when the generator needs to auto start. That generator uses 1.5 gallons per hour to do that. So how long does it take to charge those up at 38%?
It was on average probably about 2.5 hours, I was figuring it to be.
Yeah. So last winter we went through a lot of propane.
The only thing we had between us and the extreme temperatures was about 4 inches of concrete.
And some tarps.
And some tarps.
We did run that combi boiler.
It ran pretty much 24/7. It
Yeah.
was just running like crazy, you know. Right, between the generator, the gray skies, and the generator recharging the batteries, and the combi boiler running 24/7, we went through a lot of propane.
Right.
So it was important to make sure that that system was up and running before the winter, and it has proven to be a lifeline that really worked out for us.
Invaluable, invaluable. But again, let's just talk redundancy quickly. The propane runs the backup generator, but we already told you we have multiple generators as backup. We have other sources of heat besides the combi boiler. We have the wood stove, and we're a passive solar house, and we're hoping that in the future we don't really even need to use either of those sources of heat. We were told that if we just bake a pie in the oven, we're warm for 3 days. So we're hoping to try that out this winter, especially the pie part.
We certainly will use a lot less propane this winter.
So next winter should be different, and if all goes as planned, that 1,000 gallons of propane in the future should last us at least 2 years, if not more.
Yeah, let's hope so.
So if you are interested in learning more and seeing what goes on with the construction of the dome, please hit that like button, please subscribe, hit that bell.
And if you have any questions, just leave a comment below and we'll do our best to answer every single one of them.
I'm Kathy.
And I'm Rich.
And we're creating a simpler life in the Adirondacks.
But simple does not mean easy.
Company all the way from Florida.
See this structure, beautiful. And it's a pleasure meeting the folks that built it. God bless you both.
Thank you.
Yeah, Bill's a big fan.
Aw.
Yeah, he watches all our videos. He's the one.
All the
Huge
videos.
fan.
He's the one.
He's the one that watches, yeah.
Our #1 fans.
Beautiful.
That works.